If you like paranormal, true crime, and some cryptids, or just anything weird, check out Ouch, Was That a Ghost? Brought to you by your host, Liz. You can find Ouch, Was That a Ghost on Spotify, Apple, or any audio platform. New episodes drop every Thursday.
You can't handle the truth!
I'll be back.
It's alive!
An excellent day for an exorcism.
Hi, this is Joe, and this is the Filmjoe podcast, where film talk happens.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Welcome to the Filmjoe podcast, where we delve into the archives of lost films. I'm Joe, your host, and I'm here with Daisy.
Hello.
Hello, and this week we continue on films that have been lost and forgotten. Great films that have disappeared, and, well, people just don't even know about them anymore. Some people may know about some of these films, but for the most part, they're kind of gone.
That's sad.
Yeah. So,
items out there.
Yeah, and our job here is what? To let people know, to remind them of these gems, these little hidden treasures.
Yes.
All right. So now, before we continue, just a reminder again, we are not professional critics. Far from, we're just here to talk about movies as fans. We love movies. And in this episode, as all of them, we may have some spoilers. So if you haven't seen any of these, that's your fault.
Te jodiste.
Yep, you're screwed. All right. So now, based on on the film that we're covering, we're going to give this a rating of 1 to 10 emeralds.
Ooh, appropriate. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So what do you say we go ahead and swing into this adventurous film? What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. So, a rogue adventurer, a novelist, and a treasure map to romance.
Please, I need your help.
That's my new career.
It's very...
Lady. Half a year's work just flew south for the winter, all right? My Jeep is totaled. In about 5 minutes, everything I own in the world is going to be wet. So can you lighten up, please? I really don't have the time.
I'll pay you. You don't understand. It's a matter of life and death. If I don't get to my...
How much?
$50?
Oh, shit.
Well, you said you just lost everything you owned.
Not my sense of humor.
A mousy romance novelist sets off for Colombia to rescue her ransomed, kidnapped sister, and soon finds herself in the middle of a dangerous adventure hunting for treasure with a mercenary rogue. The film we're talking about is Romancing the Stone from 1984, and it is directed by none other than Robert Zemeckis, who gave us a Back to the Future trilogy, Castaway, Death Becomes Her, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Do we need to say more?
Need not.
No, he's the man. And the film stars Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito.
Love that little guy.
Oh, he was great in this. The entire cast, the trio, they were just fantastic.
One of my favorite characters was, little small character, but he was awesome, was the bellmaker. I don't remember his name.
Oh, Alfonso Araujo.
There you go. Very, very popular Mexican actor. He was so freaking cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was, who was he? Well, he was in The Three Amigos.
El Guapo.
Yes. And, he was the director of Like Water for Chocolate.
Oh, no way.
And A Walk in the Clouds.
Nice. I had no idea.
Yeah. And he was also the director of this really low budget film back in the 80s that really, it was kind of popular amongst the Mexican community because it was it spoke to them directly, and it was a comedy. It was called Mojado power.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, and I remember when this came out, everyone was making a big deal about it. It was just hilarious. But Araujo he's an amazing character actor.
Oh my god, he is awesome. He's very charismatic, very charming. I mean, and hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, he steals the scene. I mean, when he pops on the screen, he goes, "Adios, gringo." You know, he puts the gun to his face when they try to, because Araujo, he plays a drug lord in a small Colombian town. And you got to watch it. I mean, you can't even describe the level of charisma.
That whole scene though had me cracking up. You know, you have these scary ass, drug, runners, and and they all start, getting starstruck when they find out who Juanita Wilder is.
Yeah, because apparently he reads these really tough, hombres, these romance novels written by her every Sunday, and Joan Wilder, Joan in Spanish, of course, is Juanita. And when they find out, they're like, oh, Juanita, and
Es Juanita.
oh man, I just classic, and yeah, I loved yeah. Down to him, there was just a great cast. Even the Ira, the cousin.
Oh yeah, Bullethead.
Bullethead. Oh my god! And the dialogue. I mean, I tell you, there's two elements to this. Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas melt the screen with chemistry.
Oh, definitely, yes.
I mean, they're just sexy and cool and funny and complete opposites initially.
Oh yeah.
So you got that going, and then you have the supporting cast with great dialogue from both the actor who plays Ira, DeVito's cousin, and Danny DeVito himself. Just great, snappy dialogue.
Fucking shit talkers.
Oh God, he's like, "You gonna kill me? Take me back to Queens. I ain't dying out here in the jungle." Stuff like.
Or in his broken Spanish, so, she likes men. So do you, maricon.
Oh,
he calls him a maricon.
It was great. It's just a winning cast. I mean, overall, it was, like I said, it was just. To me, this film is like coming back to an old friend.
It definitely is. Yeah.
I mean, it's time. I guess you can easily in the top 10 favorite watches for me that I just go back to. It's just warm and fun. The sweet, sexy, romantic saxophone music, which is the score.
A little cheesy, but yeah.
Hell no, I love the saxophone music.
Oh,
I think it was. I love it. It's cheesy, but it was so
love
cool.
yourself some freaking yacht rock, then.
Yeah, but of course. Oh man, it's awesome. And one thing that upon this viewing, you see a really great character arc for both Douglas and Turner. She's mousy, she's shy, she's insecure in the beginning, a hopeless romantic, and the klutz.
Yeah, and I love the fact that she writes all these novels. She's projecting what she would love to experience, and yeah, and she actually ends up experiencing her own little adventure love story.
Yeah, and she becomes her own lead character. She actually overcomes a lot of her what's holding her back from finding love. But it wasn't about finding love; it was about finding herself.
Yeah, she becomes Angelina.
Yeah, absolutely, the lead character in her novels.
Mhm.
So she, it's not so much a search for love and romance, which is what it's kind of established in the beginning, but it's about finding who she is, what she is, and who she is deep down inside.
Yeah,
And
exactly. She has a fire that she didn't realize was there.
precisely. And then you have Michael Douglas, who's this rogue. Fuck it, I don't care about anybody else. It's about me. And he ends up caring for something more than just himself.
Yeah, because there's a point there where you think, oh man, he's gonna screw her over.
Yeah, and he tries, but
he does. He really does. But no, he couldn't. He actually fell for her.
Yeah. So I love that character arc, and I think that's what really makes it work. I mean, you have to have growth in a character to from where they are and to where they're supposed to be. And it's a great character arc. It's eventual. It's not sudden. It's not drawn out. It's just right. The pacing on the development of both characters are amazing.
It was perfect. It really was.
Yeah. Now, and again, DeVito to me just stole every scene he was in.
He's freaking awesome.
Oh.
The scene where they're at that party and he's under the table and that lady grabs a hold of him and just starts wailing on him.
Oh my God. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I dropped my langostino."
I was dying.
Oh gosh. I mean, just classic. And I mean, I had already been a fan of Danny DeVito from way back when he was on
Taxi. Yeah.
Yeah, on Taxi. He was so good in that. He was just destined to be a great star and a comedian.
I don't think I've ever seen anything that I didn't like with him in.
Yeah, I mean, even movies that I'm not too crazy about, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But films that are like, but him, he's great.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in fact, there's a series on Netflix called Kaminsky Method
Okay.
with Michael Douglas, and he's an aging actor who's a teacher teaching acting.
Right.
And there is one scene. It was like 10 minutes where DeVito makes a cameo
Oh, shoot. Okay.
as his proctologist.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God! It was like 5-10 minutes. It was like 5 minutes actually of just pure comedic gold. I mean, just love those two guys.
There is actually another show that he's in. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think that's
Yeah, and I keep being told about. I'm definitely
Good show.
going to jump into that eventually.
Good show. I think you like it.
Yeah, it has that kind of irreverent kind of a humor.
Very
that-
quirky. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely dig it. And another thing that really it's a trip how I haven't seen this movie in years. It's been a couple years because I revisit it regularly, but it's been a couple years.
Mhm.
And I realized, first of all, and I'll go into this in a little bit, Michael Douglas is the executive producer of this film.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And if you think about it, he's playing a secondary character. She is the lead in the film.
Yeah, she really is.
And so what does that say about Douglas and his ego or lack, or the absence of? I mean, that he was willing to take a back seat or be the sidekick.
Because, you would think that, he's supposed to come and rescue her, but no, she rescues herself.
Right, exactly. And that's what I love. It's like without being, banged over the head or hit over the head with a feminist agenda, they just do it. And it's,
It came out so natural.
Exactly.
I loved it. Yeah.
Not shoehorned. And it was perfect. I mean, I can't see anything wrong with, I can't find anything wrong with the character or the plot.
Neither can I. Seriously, yeah. This movie has been one of my favorites since I was, very young. One of my comfort movies.
It's exactly what it is. It's a comfort film.
Yeah.
English difficult. Oh my God. And but also, I mean, even down to the dialogue, it's great. I mean, remember, because they're in the jungle and she's wearing high heel shoes.
Oh man.
And he goes, "Let me see." And she's struggling in the mud and the rain, and she takes them off. He goes, "Those your shoes? Those are the only ones you have?" Yeah. He takes them from her, chops off the heels, and she's like, "But they were Italian." Yeah.
Now they're practical.
Oh man, and it has so many. I mean, that's just one of many really cute, funny lines that they exchange. And again, because of the chemistry between Turner and Douglas, I think every single line works.
I gotta ask you though.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene in the movie? Because I have mine.
Oh God, that's a tough one. I'd have to say, oh man, you know what? The shootout at the bridge.
Ooh, okay, good one.
Because it wasn't just action, but there was some really funny dialogue in there and situations within the action. So it was a beautifully structured sequence. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite, where she swings across.
Yes. And she lands nice and gently on the pile of leaves, starts downing some liquor.
And then he turns around because he's supposed to be saving her, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's shooting at the federales, and they're trying to get. And he turns, he's like, "Son of a bitch, really?" And he's like, "Okay," and he does it, but he hits the wall.
I love it.
So, what is your favorite?
Oh my god. My favorite part is where they find shelter in that crashed airplane that happens to be loaded with freaking marijuana.
Oh gosh, that is a
That was they start drinking tequila, and they start making a fire with the weed, and they're high as fuck.
oh gosh. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe it was the lighting or whatever, how they did it, but she looked high.
Yes, that's exactly what I told my husband. I'm like, look at her face. She looks legit stoned and just drunk, and just
Yeah.
totally trashed.
Because I think maybe the trick there was what they used was low lighting so that her pupils would dilate and heat up with the lamps, the lighting to make her sweat a little. But it was legit. It looked legit. I wouldn't be surprised if they were high in real life.
Oh, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, yeah. And but and then back to the dialogue, even when it's something corny, it
Mhm.
works. Like when they're digging up the jewel
Yes.
and she's all excited. Oh, they found, they're digging for buried treasure. And she looks at him with a beautiful, sweet, genuine look. And she's like, "You're the best time I've ever had." And he says, and he stops and he's like,
Uh-huh.
"Wow, I've never been anybody's best time." And it's so sweet. It's so subtle.
Mhm.
And it could have come across as corny. And I think, again, this is
I
where
like
I think that's where this film just fires on all cylinders. None of the dialogue falls flat from none of the characters.
And I
You
think
know,
at that point, really, she starts getting to him.
right, right, where he actually starts to fall for her. Exactly, and
Yes.
and realize that, and you do have that tinge of guilt
Exactly.
that he is trying to romance the stone from under her.
Yep, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Now check this out. This is very interesting. So the film was produced out of 20th Century Fox, and of course directed by Zemeckis.
Right.
So they had an initial cut, and they previewed it for a preview audience at the studio.
Hmm.
It scored super low.
Oh, what?
That initial cut. So the studio got on Zemeckis, and they're like, "You know what? Get this shit fixed." Now he was scheduled to direct another film right after this for Fox.
Hmm.
The film was Cocoon.
Oh, I love that movie.
Great fucking movie. Well, because the scores were so low for Romance in the Stone, the executives were like, "You're fired from Cocoon."
Oh, no way.
And and they had very little faith in this film. So it turned out that it was a success for Zemeckis. It was a good move for him because he was also kind of a protege of Steven Spielberg at the time.
Right.
And so Spielberg brought him on to direct Back to the Future.
Oh, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and so it's a trip. I mean, I'm sure initially Zemeckis it happens a lot in Hollywood, but he's like, "Fuck you guys," And the film turned out to be a huge, huge hit.
Yeah, I don't doubt that it was. It was so freaking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, even though a lot of film critics and people were saying, "Oh, this is a ripoff of Raiders of the Lost Ark."
What?
Yeah, well, you can see the similarities kind of here and there, but
If
the
you look
fact
hard enough, but I mean, nah.
yeah, jungles, hat, gun, that's as far as you can go. But, the fact is this script was actually around since like 78 or 79.
And and it definitely had a different feel to it. This movie was unique in its own. I think I don't think it should be compared to Raiders of the Lost Ark at all.
Oh, absolutely not. Because
Yeah.
there were a lot of films, quite a few ripoffs. You have Alan Quartermain, the Alan Quartermain Mines. Oh, the King Solomon's Mines. There was
Mhm.
that one. There was a sequel to that. You had Space Pirates and all this shit. I mean,
Mm.
Treasure of the Four Crowns. There was a bunch of these rip-off movies of Raider. Highway
Oh,
to China.
yes, High Road to
Yeah.
China.
A High Road to China with Tom Selleck. And yeah, these movies were,
Tom Selleck, who was supposed to play Harrison's Ford role in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Exactly. And he turned that down to do High Road to China because Roger Moore, who was James Bond, turned down High Road to China.
Good Lord.
I'm telling you, they pass around roles in Hollywood like they pass around women. It's crazy.
Seriously.
Yeah. There's also like stories behind the scenes and why this movie was such a hit, because it was genuine. Everybody had a blast working on the film. In fact, you remember the dance scene where they're dancing at this festival in this little pueblo?
Yes,
There were shots in there mixed in of Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas and a bunch of extras who were just dancing in real life to the music while they were they're preparing for the next scene. And Zemeckis is like, you know what, roll the cameras on this.
Oh shit, nice.
Because it was so genuine, yeah. And Kathleen Turner almost didn't get the part. Well, she wasn't first up for it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you know Deborah Winger, who was in An Officer and a Gentleman, Terms of Endearment. She was up for the role of Joan Wilder.
Oh, trip out.
And she was a strong contender. So they met up at a Mexican restaurant in LA to discuss the role. And according to Douglas, she bit him.
What? Wait, what?
She bit him.
She literally bit him?
She fucking bit him. And suffice to say, she didn't get the role. That was a bit...
That bitch cray-cray.
Yeah, she was. There was something off about her. And it's a shame because but you know what? I don't know. I can't imagine anybody else but Kathleen Turner in that role.
So beautiful. Oh, yeah. She did the role justice.
Absolutely. Now, here's another little tidbit. Remember the scene where they're bargaining because she's stuck in the middle of the road. He comes out of the jungles and rescues her. Yeah, she offers money to him. Hey, get me out of here, right?
Yeah, $50.
$50, and he's like I have in the clip that I have for this, where he said 50. He goes, yeah, but you just lost everything. Not my sense of humor.
I love that line.
Great fucking dialogue. And so she offers him traveler's checks,
right?
And he says, American Express, yeah, deal.
Right.
Now you know where that's from, right?
No, I don't.
Well, early in Michael Douglas's career, he had a TV series called The Streets of San Francisco.
Right.
Where he was a detective partnered up with an older detective played by Carl Malden.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Malden and him were good friends. Carl Malden was also a spokesperson for American Express.
Oh, nice.
So it was his little nod to his old friend in the beginnings of his career.
That is awesome. Oh, I had no idea. That is really cool.
Yeah, and the first time I saw it, I'm like, because I remember those commercials. He's like, he was dressed like his detective character in the show by, Carl Malden, and he's like, American Express, don't leave home without them.
I remember those commercials.
That was him and his old partner.
Oh wow, that is really cool.
Yeah. Now another aspect and why maybe this is such a great romance action adventure film. Diane Thomas, she wrote the screenplay, and it was her first major screenplay bought by a studio. At the time, she was working as a waitress in Malibu.
Wow.
And she wrote the script back in 1978. With this story, the script, and the success of the movie, she was on the fast track of success. In fact, she was working on a project with Steven Spielberg. And so unfortunately, after the film was done and it was a big success, Michael Douglas bought her a Porsche saying thank you.
Oh shit, that's a hell of a thank you.
Yeah. Well, she was with her fiance. He was driving. They had a fatal accident and she passed away.
Oh my God.
A year after. And it was
awful.
Yeah, and just a talent that was taken way before her time. I mean, she was her first big script, first big hit, working with Steven Spielberg. It's pretty sad.
I wonder how Michael Douglas felt, knowing that his present caused her death.
Oh, that must have been hard. I mean, but Douglas, I mean, he was the one who was behind her from the very beginning. The script came to him. He had a production company that he had a deal with Columbia Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And, his production company would make the films, Columbia would release. You have the China Syndrome, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was a Douglas production.
Right.
So he had a multi-film deal with these guys. And he said, fuck it, I want to do this as well. Well, the studio kind of they kind of dragged their feet a little bit. They couldn't agree on who was going to star in it as Jack T. Colton, who was going to play that part. I mean, they went from Stallone to Eastwood, Burt Reynolds. I mean, and they all turned it down. And so, yeah, so Columbia eventually, they couldn't get a lead actor because it all hinged on a lead actor.
Right.
And so they just dropped it. They dropped the project. And so Douglas, eventually his contract with Columbia, it ended.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to 20th Century Fox. He took it to them and they loved it. And they're like, you know what? Raiders of the Lost Ark, huge hit. We can use something like that. I mean, so, even though it's not a ripoff,
right.
They're like, fuck it. We're going to ride those coattails of success.
Might as well.
And so they're all on it. And Douglas is like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to be Jack T. Colton. And he put himself in the role.
And I think he was perfect.
Oh, above and beyond. That was his first action film.
You know what? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I think it was his only one, wasn't it?
Well, he did a couple. I know he did a film called Black Rain where he was a detective and it's like a suspense action, thriller. He did a couple, but this one was his very first along that in that vein of action and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's just amazing. So it was a huge hit. So the budget at the time for this was about $10 million, which that's about $62 million today. So it was a decent little budget.
Right.
And box office at the time was $115 million, which is about $340 million today. That's what you call a nice sizable hit.
I'd say so.
Yeah. And it had legs. It stuck around in the top 10. So it did really, really well.
Damn. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Now, critics and reviews and reception overall.
Oh,
here we go.
Here we go.
Yes. Roger Ebert, the critic we all love to hate and hate to love. He called it a silly, high-spirited chase picture. But he did say he really enjoyed the film's imaginative, perils and cast of colorful villains. He loved all that shit. And he pretty much said, compared to the rest of the Raiders of the Lost Ark wannabes, this one was the best.
Jeez, that's just like the most backhanded compliment.
It's like, thank you, I think.
Jeez, seriously. I think that's the best he can do, really.
Yeah. I mean, secretly, he loved the film. He just don't want anybody to think, he has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so IMDb sitting at a 6.9, not bad. Metacritic, 63%. Critic score overall, 86%. Audience score, 69%. And Letterboxd sitting at a 3.3 out of 5. So pretty decent numbers. It was very well liked. And, it hung around for a long time. I mean, it did great on home video as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember renting that when we were kids.
Yeah. And then when it came on cable, every time it was on, we watched it.
Mm-hmm. Over and over.
Over and over, yeah. Although you did have a habit of watching shit over and over, like, oh my God.
You should have heard me when the movie first started. I actually started, doing the scenes.
Oh my God. Oh, jeez.
Yes. That's how many times I've seen it.
Oh my God. Pretty much. When I was watching it last week, I'm sitting there. Okay, here comes this piece of dialogue. Okay, Maricone. Yeah, it was hilarious.
I know this movie word by word.
Yeah. No, but it was great. Now sequels and spin-offs. Now there was a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen this. Jewel of the Nile.
I think I saw a little bit of it and I threw up a little bit in my mouth.
Yeah. I mean, it lost that magic. I mean, granted, Michael Douglas, Turner, DeVito, they're just amazing actors, but they couldn't save this one.
They couldn't. And I appreciate that they all came back to reprise their roles. I think that was awesome.
Yeah, but I think at this point, I mean, first of all, you have Zemeckis. There was no way they were going to get Zemeckis back.
That's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're like, look, why don't we get Zemeckis back, kiss his ass royally? No, never mind. He's not going to do it. After what they did to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, you have Diane Thomas, the screenwriter, who unfortunately passed away.
Exactly, exactly.
And I think her words were the heart of this film. So without that, I don't.
Mhm.
It's just not the same. It was supposed to be a trilogy, actually.
Oh god, I'm glad they stopped where they did. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was very forced. I think it was they went overboard with with the comedy.
yeah, and I think they also try to flip the happily ever after. Oh, not so happily ever after, because then reality kicks in, and oh no, it was. I think the beauty of the romance of the first and the storybook romantic ending. That's what's just so magical about the film.
Exactly, yes. The music too.
Yeah. Now the third one, which never got made, thank God, was going to be called The Crimson Eagle.
The Crimson Eagle. That sounds like
Yeah.
something a woman gets every month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh God. Now I'm never going to think of that title the same way again. Uh, okay, but it's with the box office was pretty decent, but it was mauled by the critics. I mean, the critics who loved the first one, remember I had a critic score of 86%. So a lot of critics loved the original, and they mauled this one to death. They're like, "This is garbage. It's horrible." They hated it. They really
Yeah,
did.
yeah, exact. Yeah, I totally agree.
As much as when the first one came out, they still. I remember when it came out in the trade papers. With I used to read Premiere Magazine, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and a sequel's. I was so excited, and
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
yeah, and I remember I hopped on the bus, went to Hollywood to go see it in one of those nice theaters, and I came out like, oh man, that's sad. It was bad.
Jesus. Oh god. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's the risk that we take, when they're gonna do a sequel. You always worry, is it gonna, be as good as the first one, And
right. And rarely is that the case.
exactly.
Rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's give our ratings. You go first.
Okay, so what are we waiting on again?
Em-
Emeralds?
Emeralds.
You know what? Um, I love the movie. Like I said, it's one of my comfort movies. I love how she's a writer, she's a romantic novelist, and her story literally comes to life for her. I think that was awesome. I am gonna give it a solid 9.
Okay. That's nice. That's nice. Well, I found it, to me, it was just a fun, sexy, sweet, romantic action adventure. I mean, fuck. What else can you ask for? It was fun. The entire cast, the magic of the dialogue, and it was just having fun throughout the entire film. And you could tell it definitely came across on the screen. To me, I can't see anything wrong with this. It's one of my all-time favorite films. I'm gonna have to give this a 10 out of 10 emeralds.
Ooh, yes, yes. I was gonna.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go too overboard, but you know what? Yeah, it definitely deserves 10.
yeah. I mean, because I'm very careful on giving tens,
Yeah.
but but you know what we're rating, how we work on this podcast is it's what it does to us in our being films that are favorite to us if we like them. And
Exactly. And these are the movies that I want to share with everybody, that, a lot of young people today don't even know these movies exist. You know,
no, not at all.
so please give it a chance. Go out there. I think I found it on Amazon. It's
It,
awesome.
it's worth it. It really, really is. Good old fashioned romance, action, adventure comedy. Great stuff.
Yes.
Now, if you like these kind of films, there was a slew of them, and some of them are really bad. I mean, you had like Firewalker with Chuck Norris and Lou Gossett Jr. That was horrible. Treasure of the Four Crowns, Alan Quartermain, and no, they just were bad. The best one out there I would recommend would be High Road to China.
I
With
don't remember that movie too much, but I do remember seeing it as a kid and loving it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Tom Selleck is just he's Tom Selleck, and it's fun. It's a good film. I'd recommend it
Hmm.
overall. And of course, if you like this kind of stuff, there's the Raiders of the Lost Ark films, the Indiana Jones films, the first three. That's it.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, the first
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, because these last two, they were, especially, no, they suck balls.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if I even want to watch the last one that came out. I know the Crystal Skull. Ah,
Yeah, that one pushed the limits.
it did.
And I wanted to like it. I mean, it had some stuff in there that was good.
As much
Uh,
as I love aliens, I'm a big old alien nerd.
mhm.
I don't think Aliens and Raiders of the Lost Ark, went together.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I tell you, it was Crystal Skull was actually better than Dial of Destiny.
Wow.
Yeah, because Dial of Destiny was directed by what's his name? Mangold. Forgot his first name. He directed oh shit, what the fuck did he direct? Anyway, he directed some good stuff before. And it definitely felt like a director imitating Steven Spielberg.
Oh,
Yeah. So it was very questionable.
I can tell he didn't succeed, sadly.
No, he didn't. So you want to keep your memories fresh of Indiana Jones, just watch the first three and that's it.
Exactly. Agreed.
Righty. So what do you say? We start winding this one down.
All right.
Sounds good. We really hope you enjoyed the show. Please help to continue to support the podcast by giving us a nice 5-star rating, leave us a good review, or another way to support the pod is simply to subscribe and or follow us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Also, don't forget, come on, drop by our Facebook group, leave us a comment, let us know what you think of the show. Check out our TikTok channel, and we have a YouTube channel where we have all our current episodes on as well. All these links, they're in the show notes. Check them out. You can also contact us directly to our email at thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. Love to hear your feedback. So, any final thoughts before we leave?
Old movies, go out there, watch them. There's some good stuff out there.
Yeah, because a lot of the new shit sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
I mean, there's a couple that are good. All right. So, I'm Joe.
I'm Daisy,
And this is the Film Joe podcast.
where film talk happens.